running back. The running back competition. This one seems wide open. If you don't think, well, it could be wide open. What do you think? Waruna, you start us off.
Yes, I think it's wide open. Here's the reason. Now, Raheem Mostert, he has something to prove, right? Because he has never had a 1,000-yard season and he was unable to stay healthy. I mean, we were discussing early in the season that during a roundtable that he should not get more than 12 carries per game because he is injury prone. He is our most valuable asset. So we have to be careful the way we use it. But if we tell that to Raheem Mostert, he would become mad. He would say, no, I want to have that 1,000-yard season. I want to be in the Hall of Fame. So I want to have maybe 20 carries, 25 carries if that first team needs. I can be that workhorse. So there, I believe we have Wade Goldman. He did really well with Giants last year. Then Trey Sermon, he wants to prove it. He wants this. So it would be really interesting. But at the moment, we all assume that Trey Sermon is going to be our workhorse, that he would be our number one guy. Mostert would come in just 10 to 12 carries, but there would be a real battle. This is when we started to talk about battles, this was the most interesting topic that was to me because I thought this would be the most intense battle due to the fact all these players are really capable, really talented. So it's going to be a fantastic battle and we will have a good season. Anyone who has come on top, we can get good results out of them in the season.
I think Kyle learned an important lesson last year when JaMychal Hasty was thrust into the starting lineup that he can succeed with a lot of running backs in the lineup, but maybe not every single running back as a workhorse back. And that's why he went after Trey Sermon. I think he likes him. I think it'll take a little longer for Sermon to be ingratiated into that starting lineup. So I think they'll need Mostert, Gallman, and then hopefully another veteran. I think they should go target just to ease the load because I don't know if Gallman is a number 2 back. In my opinion, I think he's a really successful number 3 back. Kind of what Jeff Wilson Jr. has been the last couple of years. Get that number 2 back to split carries with Mostert, and then Sermon by week 8 will hopefully be ready to hit the ground running and take over. That's what you've seen. A lot of teams that are successful in the postseason have the regular season running back and then the postseason running back that kind of runs away with things. Damian Williams with the Chiefs, and then Leonard Fournette last year, halfway through the season, kind of grabbed hold of the battle with Ronald Jones and was their playoff guy. And I think that's what the 49ers are going to need from Sermon by week 8. He's going to need to get it going.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, last year, obviously the 49ers ranked number 15 in rushing. Their Super Bowl run, they were ranked number 2. And a lot of that had to do with using the speed and spot duty and then having the bruisers take on, most of the grunt work, which was at that time Tevin Coleman, right? And then Breida and Mostert came in as like home run hitters and were able to stay relatively healthy, at least one of them, all the way through the season. And I think that the moves that were made through the draft really show that Shanahan's trying to get back to having that run-heavy, dominant rushing attack to be able to have that success that his offense has. And the only running back on the roster that the 49ers gave up assets to get is Trey Sermon. They traded up to get him in the 3rd round, right? So to think that he's not going to play a major role immediately in the offense, I think would be silly just because they traded up to get him. They obviously saw something that they felt like they could utilize. And out of any position in the offense, the running back seemed to be the position that transitions the easiest to actually making an impact immediately, right? So I believe that in this camp, we're going to see, what Trey Sermon, as long as Trey Sermon could pick up the blitzes and do good in pass protection, I imagine he's going to be on the field a majority of the time. And then we're going to be able to protect Mostert because he's just a smaller back, mostly speed, and use him more like a home run hitter. And then, you really use Trey Sermon and Gallman as the people that are going to do the short yardage as well as, the pass pro and, a bulk of the carries throughout the game.
Yeah, so along the lines, kind of what these guys have been saying, I think they're going to keep a rotation of 3 running backs that they're going to see a lot of action in every game. So I think you're going to see Trey Sermon play a lot. You're going to see Wayne Gallman play a lot. And Raheem Mostert, they're going to put him in there to try to hit the home runs. I do think they actually are going to keep 5 running backs on the roster. I think we may cut away some depth, either at wide receiver or tight end. But I think we're based on the injury history that we've had over the years that they're going to keep 5 running backs on the roster. I don't believe JaMychal Hasty is going to be one of the 5 running backs. I think he's either going to be practice squad or he's not going to make the team at all. We'll probably pick up a veteran that gets cut, from another team during camp or after camp. So I think we're going to have Raheem Mostert, Trey Sermon, Gallman, and then we'll have Elijah Mitchell. He's going to work on probably returning kicks. I think that's where you're going to see the depth with the wide receiver position be less, as I think Mitchell is somebody that could factor into the return game. So I think we're going to have those 4, and then we'll find a veteran on the market at the end of training camp. But I think it's going to be a 3-back rotation throughout games, where we'll see Sermon and Gallman go in and do the heavy lifting, do the grinding out the tough yards, and then we'll have Mostert, until he's healthy, come in and be the home run hitter. If he goes down, then Mitchell, he can fill into that role as well.
I'm more bullish on Mostert than you guys are. The way I see it is I think he's the unquestioned starter. I don't think there's going to be a competition. I think he's going to get the most carries. I know you guys like Sermon, but Mostert's very good. He's in the last year of a contract. He's in a contract year. He has a lot to prove. He's got a $3.6 million cap hit, which is more than Debo, IU, Kinlaw, DJ Jones, Brandon, Alex Mack. He's a significant part of the team. And the thing I feel like that people don't realize about Sermon, he's built bigger. He's built like a bell cow. He averaged 10 yards a carry in college. He never carried the ball more than 164 times in a season in his life. He never ran for more than 950 yards in a season. So he had injury issues too. I mean, he also missed most of 2019. He had 54 carries that year. So I think maybe the competition this year is going to be between him and Gallman for the number 2 spot. I don't really know that either of them are going to challenge Mostert this year. Mostert might give up the job by getting hurt again, or he may just give it up next year when he leaves, if he leaves. But right now, I think it's more between Gallman and Sermon. I agree that Mitchell probably will make the team, and Hasty probably will be stashed on the practice squad at first and then get called up later as someone gets hurt. So that's the way I see it. But Mostert has to stay healthy. He got hurt in OTAs. He has to stay healthy.
That's what I thought early on in the offseason, Grant, is I thought Mostert was going to have a breakout season, maybe get like 15 to 17 carries a game. But seeing our moves that we made in the draft, where we're getting, the offensive lineman, the guard, I'm spacing out on his name, but Aaron Banks, yeah. So, I think we're going to move a little bit more to a power running game. We're still going to have the outside zone, and Mostert can break those big runs. But I think we're going to be doing a lot of more running inside the tackles, and it's shaping up to be a little bit more of a power running game, especially if Trey Lance is playing early, because we're not going to want to be throwing the ball a lot. So we're going to really rely heavily on that run game to wear down the defense. And I just don't think that Mostert is going to be able to do that. So I really think it's going to be a 3-back committee, and it's going to be Gallman and Sermon doing a lot of the heavy lifting. But I did think what you're saying early in the offseason until we actually started making some moves, and it kind of tempered my expectations a little bit.
Well, we don't know that Aaron Banks is going to start week 1 or at all as a rookie. He has to. We're going to talk about that next. And also, we don't know how good Aaron Banks is going to be. It seems to me that that's a nice new addition to the Niners offense, that power inside game. But as long as George Kittle is on this team and healthy, he's the best blocker in this run game, and you better be threatening the edge. And that's what Raheem Mostert does. But it'll be very interesting to see what happens. Zeus Gucci, what a name, says, what week will they phase out the other running backs and let Trey Sermon eat? Will they move Mostert to a 3rd down role? Well, that was our discussion. I hope we answered your question.